Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Monday, February 24th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting, because that is what I love to do all day, every day, as often as I can get the chance. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I am most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there if you would like. We're all of the above, none of the above. It's totally fine. No big deal. I also will be having show notes, so the things that I talk about in this episode will be in the show notes, hopefully. And if not, feel free to message me and let me know that I'm missing something, because probably will. All that will be in the show notes. Also, the yarn store information, because I work at a yarn store. It's called the Modern Skein in Montgomery, Texas, and we expanded recently. Super awesome. Please come hang out with us if you are nearby. That would be great. If not, we have an online store, so you can check us out on social media and stuff like that. So all that will be in the show notes. No worries, that's on my blog. So if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on my blog already, everything is already there. I have quite a lot to show you today, which is very exciting. Last week was a little bit shorter, but that's okay. You know, life happens and content is a little bit lower than normal some weeks, and that's totally fine. That's just the way the life works. So I do have quite a lot to show you this week, which is very exciting. So let's not beat around the bush, shall we? Let's get into it. If you like to grab something tasty to drink or something to snack upon, an animal to snuggle, something to craft upon, laundry to fold, or bread to knead, cookies to bake, or anything else that you like to do while watching podcasts, you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. So, everybody. Also, side note, it really doesn't matter, but I have noticed that I do this, and now everyone will probably notice that now that I'm mentioning it. But I do the intro, and I, without a doubt, always start the episode with the word so. I always start with so, blah, 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 blah. So, everybody, blah, 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 blah. And today was no different. But that's okay. That's just how I do things. First off, I am wearing my Bravura pullover by Beatrice of Thread and Ladle. I test knit this for her last year, and it's super cute. It's cropped, and I really like it. So it works really well to throw over your workout clothes when you are recording a podcast early in the morning, and it's great. It's for the weather update of the episode, because that's always important. I'm sure you are all dying to know what the weather's like in Tomball, Texas, this wonderful Monday morning. By Wednesday it should be cold, but today it's pretty warm. Today the highs are in the low 70s, and it's very humid, so it's kind of sticky and humid, and I apologize. Let me turn this off. But we have a cold front coming, so that's great. Again, headaches, sinus, all that jazz, so much fun, my favorite time. But it cannot be avoided. There's no way to avoid it, so we just have to grin and bear it. Take some ibuprofen, whatever, and knit a lot, because it's cold. So, which is really great, because I finished 2 items that are quite large and quite wonderful for cold weather. One of which is my fog line shawl by Brianne Moody. It's so beautiful and gorgeous, and if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw pictures of this already, but last week I hadn't finished it yet, and now it's done. And now the pattern's published, so if you are interested in making this, please go and check out the Ravelry page. And I believe, I'm not sure if there's still any kits available, but Spin Cycle or Farmer's Daughters Fibers was putting together kits for this because that's who she worked with on this pattern. I used various combinations of Noro and Cascade and Barocco and Plymouth. So you can use whatever you so desire. Hand spun would be awesome, but if you get the chance to work with Farmer's Daughters Fibers or Spin Cycle, or both, that would be the dream. So, I love this section. This section is just amazing, but I also love this brown and pink with the green section and the orange. I also love that section. Not that I don't love the other sections, because I really do. Like, this one is just super fun. And then this one is just neutrally, and I love it. Also, tassels. These tassels are huge, and I love it. They are massive, and it just makes for a beautiful, wrappy schlanket. And I have used it for a blanket. I've used it for a scarf, because when I finished it, it was cold. Now it's warm again, and it's going to get cold again. So I'm prepared. See, we just got to be prepared. Really, that's all it boils down to is preparedness and timing your knitwear and your finished objects. We'll put that right there so it won't be in the way. Move that over there. Okay. Second, for my finished objects, because I got 2, still have my progress keepers on here, so I was doing a good job of marking my progress. We can see how much I knit. I've actually got 2 on here, but my Snowberry is finished. I love my Snowberry. This is another, not nearly as big, or wide, I should say. It is very long, but this is by Shannon Cook. There is a wrap option, and then there is a cowl option. I just finished this last night, and I was going to block it last night, but then I had enough thinking aheadness to not block it so I could show you. So this will be blocked today, and I will be seaming the ends together to make a massive cowl, and I'm so excited. So from last week, this guy right here is the progress from last week. So we have quite a lot of progress. Then this from here to here was done in a day, and then I put this in maybe Thursday at work, and then I just continued on and didn't put in another one. But can we even with these baubles? Like, I know, so this is, a lot of people don't like baubles, and I totally understand that. I would not say that I would jump at the chance to do baubles. I'm not saying that I like greatly love and adore from the bottom of my heart baubles, but I do enjoy them. They are pretty fun to make, and I mean, like, it's also this yarn and this pattern, but like this stitch definition is just gorgeous. So pretty. I used Drops Lima, obviously in a very gray, heathery colorway. If this was not being made into a cowl, I would be putting tassels on it, except I would have to use a different yarn because I used up almost all my yarn, which is really amazing. So I just have about half of a ball of this left, which is really nice. So yeah, I love this so much. It was super easy. By the end of it, I didn't need my pattern. Oh, there's a progress keeper. But yeah, by the end of it, I didn't need my pattern, and we'll just do the rest of the podcast like this because it's not like it's hot or anything right now. I mean, it's not hot inside because we have the air conditioner on, but I'll need this eventually. I'll need it later this week, and I will be loving it. So, Shannon Cook, Snowberry, would highly recommend it. It's also one of those patterns that if you wanted to shorten it for sure and have a smaller cowl, it's very easy to do so. Because it's just a lot of like, repeat so-and-so sections for so many times, and then repeat these sections for another so many times, and ta-da, you're done. So you can pretty much make it however long or short you want it. But that would affect your yardage, so you need to take that into account. But I love that. It was a languishing whip. Most definitely. I should have looked up when I started it, because I'd have it on my Ravelry, but I did not. I could do that now. Let's do that now, shall we? But yeah, I'm very excited about finishing things now, because I have finished things and it feels good, and it's just good knitting mojo stuff, you know? Nope, that's not what I wanted. I clicked on the wrong thing. Ew. This is quite the languishing whip. This was started in November of 2018. Quite the languishing whip. But it's done now. I mean, I remember when I started. That's okay, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be okay, it'll be okay. So, now that I've finished, this is a nice transition, now that I've finished a very big languishing whip, last week I talked about maybe casting on the Bennett sister shawl, which I did not do, but I have good reason for not doing that, and I'll share that in just a moment. But the other languishing whips that I worked on this week, and then now I'm going to throw another languishing whip into the rotation. First off, I have my Seavogger pullover by Kate Davies. This little guy. And he is just very plain and simple. And no, I'm not doing the jogless stripes. I feel very conflicted about this, because sometimes I really just don't care, and sometimes I'm like, that doesn't look very good. But I just don't have the patience. I know it's so easy to do, and I know that it's just like, it's just so easy. But I don't know. I'm just bound and determined to get this done, and I really want to do this quickly, and I know that like this is gonna be on the side, it's a seam, like it's not gonna be like in the front, I don't think, because I do have another stitch marker on the exact opposite, so it should be the sides. This is just a basic striped pullover with dropped sleeves. I'm using Knit Picks Stroll tweed fingering in the no, I don't remember. I think this is rabbit. I think that's probably rabbit. This might be Wellies. I don't remember. No, Wellies is black. This is brown. I don't remember. But anyway, these are my yarns. Last week I discussed that my yarns were frustrating me to no end. They were getting so tangled, and I hated it, and I think that's probably why I stopped working on it, or one of the reasons. And so I was thinking about taking all my little skeins of yarn from Knit Picks and winding them into cakes of yarn, like so. And it has been a game changer, everyone. Granted, this one is kind of starting to fall apart, and I'm just hoping and praying that it stays together. And actually I can kind of fix that right now. Just scoot these little strands back on top. There we go. Okay, I feel much better about that now. Whew. So, yeah, it was super easy to do, and I just plopped down at her winder at work and just rewound these skeins of yarn from Knit Picks. And I think it's just because that this yarn is so smooth and very soft, which is a wonderful thing, and that's not a bad thing at all, but it causes the balls of yarn to not really stay together very well, which is a huge downside, because we have the beautifulness of soft, beautiful yarn, and then we have the downside of tangled, soft, beautiful yarn, and we don't want the tangled, soft, beautiful yarn. We want the nice and neat cakes of yarn. So yeah, I am quite loving this. These are significantly smaller because I had already knit from these quite a bit, and I broke my yarn because it was just so frustrating. I broke my yarn to wind these up, and I feel like I got a lot done. I did not think to put in a progress keeper, but you know what? I was trying to do some form of jogless stripes when I stopped, and so now you can kind of see where so I started there last Monday. Yeah, right there. So I did pretty well. I made a lot of progress. This is like so mindless because I'm just knitting around and around for forever. But like I said last week, I feel like will accomplish one of my knitting goals this year, which is to knit something that I would buy from a store. If I saw this in a store, I'd be like, that's super cute. I really want to make that, or I would love to make that if I could, or I could also buy it. So, I feel like I'm accomplishing that, and that's really awesome. So another knitting goal is being checked off, and that's really just very exciting. So moving right along with our languishing whips, I now just have one in my rotation, and I need to throw in another one into my rotation. So I think because the sea bogger is so mindless and just so repetitive, because I'm knitting around and around and around, like I just said, for miles upon miles, which, don't get me wrong, I really do love that. There's something just so soothing and very calming about doing that, and I love it, and it's perfect knitting. So I am not complaining. First up would be an option to, how many, what? Oh, there's a ball of yarn in here. It's just a little bit. Is my Oban cardigan by Thea Coleman. Yeah, Thea Coleman. Oh, I forgot how. Oh, this smells so good. Ah, I love smelling yarn. And I know that sounds weird if you're not a knitter, but if you're a knitter, this makes sense to you. We've all done it. We all understand there's nothing weird with smelling yarn and saying that you love the smell of yarn and just, I just love it. So don't judge me. No, 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 no. We will not have that here. No. I know I'm not the only one. I know for a fact that I'm not the only one. There are so many of us out there. Anyway, moving right along, because we're talking about the sweater here, not smelling yarn. This is the Oban cardigan. I am knitting this out of Simply Wool Worsted from Knit Picks, so it's very similar to like Cascade 220. This is a cabled cardigan, obviously, and it's a V-neck, and it's got pockets, and last year was going to be my very amazing, wonderful goal of finishing it just in time to wear it around Thanksgiving or around the time where it got cold. Clearly that didn't happen, and that's okay. You know what? Life happens and Christmas presents happen. Let me see when I cast this on. I do have pictures for this on my Ravelry thing though. Yes, this is just become a languishing whip, because now we're approaching things that I did cast on last year, and in the July, August time, and before they didn't count because it has to be 6 months or older to be a languishing whip by my standards. Granted, it could be totally different. It could be a year for you. It could be 3 months for you. I don't know. But just for me, I'm going by 6 months. So since I cast this on in August, it's now a languishing whip. And this is super fun to knit. I really have been enjoying this. Not because, you can't tell that because I stopped, but I really do enjoy knitting this. I have become a pro at cabling without a cable needle. This is what I've been doing with this one. I don't know, it's just so beautiful. Again, stitch definition, people, can we even? I know I say that a lot. Can we even? But it's true. And then we got these pockets, and they're just so cool. I did, to keep the look of a pocket, I have like pinned down the pocket in the back so it looks more like a pocket, and the lining is not flapping around everywhere. So this could be a languishing whip that's a little bit more crazy, or not crazy, but it will require. And you know what, I think I was doing this without the pattern for a while, so I think it's possible to do without the pattern. I know I am getting close to the V-neck shaping, which is super exciting, and I really just need to get back on that. So that is one thing that could be a next up rotation project that's living in my happy bag. The next project that could be in rotation, and for all I know they all three could be in rotation, is my Hibernating cowl by Stephen West. And yes, so this might have been, this wasn't a birthday cast on, was it? It might have been. It could have been, which is not. Yep. No, I started this on February 2nd. Why did I know I started it because of, there was a reason. But anyway, this is out of his Hibernating book. And that's upside down. His Hibernating book. And this is all stash except for one of the mohairs, this bright purple mohair. I had the rest of them, which is super awesome. It's pretty much just like a sampler of stuff, and like we've got this stitch texture portion, and then we've got color work, and then we got slip stitches, and then maybe stripes. I don't know. But this is a crazy one for sure, and I do love it. It's something about it is just like, but I could work on other things. It's not that I don't love it. I'm not sure why. I need to figure out why that is. But I remember, like, when I've worked on this, it takes me a while to get into the rhythm of this. Like, it takes me, I need to work on it for maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes to be like, yes, I'm doing amazing! We're gonna finish this today! Which is not at all ever going to happen until I get close to being done with it. But like, it takes me a while to get into the rhythm of the pattern and just be really excited about the progress that I've made. Because especially with this stitch texture portion, that took me forever. And it's not because it was a hard pattern. It's not because, oh goodness gracious, all these ends. Oh no, wait, I don't have to worry about them because this is gonna be put together at the other end, I think. I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, look at all those ends. Ooh. And this was before I knew how to weave in ends as I went. So that's a very scary thought. pretty sure, let's see, let's find this out. Do we seam it together? Yeah, weave an end, seam in, cast on edge to bind off edge to form a circular tube. I can do that. But yes, this is what it's gonna look like. That's the 2-color version. I obviously opted for the colored version. Here's him. I'm working on this section right now. Oops. So, I really like this book. I really want to make more out of it. In my spare time, when I'm not knitting all these things, and just, I don't know, just so many things that I want to knit, just not enough time in the day, or the week, really, or the year, if we want to get technical, because if there was enough time to knit everything in the year, I wouldn't have as many languishing whips, but that's okay. So that is all that I have for languishing whips and finished objects, but I do have some recent cast-ons. One thing that I would like to mention, I do have some secret knitting that I cannot show you, but it is a thing, and yes. So because of that, I have been working on that, and that means that some of there might not be as much to show you of some things because I've been working on this other thing that I can't show you, and it's like, so believe me when I say I've knit a lot this week. Like, I've done a lot of work. And you're probably wondering, what is this secret knitting? This secret knitting is a shawl for Diane of Suburban Stitcher Yarn, which is super exciting. She has a brand new DFW colorway coming out for DFW Fiber Fest. So if you are going, you have to check it out because it is beautiful, beautiful. So stunning. And I love the colors that she put together, and I'm just really loving knitting it, and I really want to make another one for myself. So if you see this sample at DFW, that's what I'm working on, but I can't show it to you yet, which is I'm sorry. But, secrets, it's gonna be a wonderful surprise. I'm very excited for everyone to see it, and Diane is an amazing dyer, and it's just so exciting. So, yes, can't show you that. But I have made progress on my Free Your Fade, which is this year's birthday cast on. And I've added the second color. I'm so excited. This brings me so much joy. And like, when you hold these two skeins up next to each other, they don't look like they would fade necessarily very well. But now that I've knitted, I'm starting knitting with them. It's like the most beautiful fade ever, and I love it so much, and it like just brings me so much joy, and I love this. I love this. Did I mention that I love this? Because I love this. This is special yarn that I have saved to work on for forever. This is Dye for Knitting, and he is a dyer out of Tulsa or Oklahoma City. This skein is falling apart, and this makes me very, very anxious. Oh no. Should have left it in the project bag, but I didn't. Okay, well, just hopefully this will fix this. So if you are unfamiliar with the pattern, what the poop is Free Your Fade. Free Your Fade is a pattern by the wonderful and brilliant Andrea Mowry. Oh goodness, is that from the inside? Poop. Oh wait, no, that's the end. Oh, praise the Lord. Okay, I was about to have a heart attack right there. I just don't want this to get tangled. So, Free Your Fade is a beautiful asymmetrical shawl that's got 3 colors. You start with you start here, and you increase and you increase and you increase, and then you add your second color, and then you got a third color, and it's really amazing and it's super fun, and you get to play with color and you get to enjoy this awesome mindless knit. It's awesome. I love it. Have I mentioned how awesome it is and that I love it? Because I don't think I can mention that enough, apparently. So this is the first color that I am almost done with, so I'll have a lot left over, which is very exciting. I understand, and in the past I have also been this way, that I just really want to finish and use up as much yarn as I possibly can. With some projects I really want to do that, but with other projects, with stuff like this, having left over makes me super excited, because Stephen West and so many other people have so many scrappy projects out there, and this is awesome for color work, and I can just, it just adds to the color pool that I can pull from to put together fun color palettes. So having a lot left over, and granted I still have some to knit with this, but yeah, I'm really excited to add these to my color stash and being able to add them to things in the future. So that's number one. This is Alchemy, if I didn't mention this, dye for knitting. And then the next one is my favorite. I love this so much. The speckles are insane. They're so amazing. I love them. This is I Get By with a Little Help from My Friends. And it's just kind of like a really nice pinky mauve color, but with all these amazing speckles. Plus I like the name. It's a nice name. And I know it's a song reference. I do know that. And my last color will be this, which doesn't show up on camera very well, but it's called Time Bomb. And it's just gorgeous. And it also has amazing speckles. All three of them have amazing speckles. Yeah, that's not showing up very well. But, oh well. It's just such incredible yarn. So incredible. And yeah, I've started that second color. I Get By with a Little Help from My Friends. Can we see that? Is that not gorgeous? I'm so excited. So yeah, I've done almost all the fading stripies between the two of them, and I think I'm almost to just knitting with B, which makes me very excited, because it is my favorite color out of the three of them. Not that I don't like the other ones, but I just really, really love the third one, or the middle one. So yeah, I really love this. I love that it is my birthday cast on. Thank you again for everyone who voted, and for everyone who told me that you could see how excited I was about this one, because I am so excited. I am just really loving knitting on this. It's just so much fun. Yeah. I was gonna say something and I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. One thing that I have noticed, and I'm sure other people have noticed, and I know a lot of other people are doing this as well, but this just seems to be the time for pom-poms and fringe and tassels, and if I can add a tassel onto it, I probably will. So that's another nice thing of having little bits of leftover yarn. If you do want to use it up, it's a good way to use up yarn, or if you have leftovers, then you can make tassels that have the color of yarn in them. And I'm pretty sure this will have tassels. Probably 3 of them. So the 2 points and then the triangular, the wide one. So, because that makes super sense, you know, because that's also grammatically correct. We're very grammatically correct today. So that is all the knitting that I have for this week. I feel like that went really quickly. Like I have a lot, or I had a lot to show you and a lot to talk about, but it just like sped by. In regards to baking and stuff, I am planning, I haven't been able to do as much baking as I would like, but just because I've been busy and I keep making these grandiose plans to bake things and I never do, and then now is the time. Now is the time. I think it might also be because of the bread situation, because I'm loving that. In fact, I do have some bread that is coming to room temperature because I prepped it yesterday. I'm making cinnamon raisin bread, and it's also got walnuts in it, and I'm very excited. But you could totally omit the omit? Same thing, you know what I mean. To leave out, that is the point. I think it's omit, but whatever. Tomato. You can leave out the walnuts if you want to. So I'm really excited about that. I do love a really good cinnamon swirl bread, especially with cream cheese or butter or honey and butter. Just so good. Love that. So that's very exciting. I enjoyed putting that together. That came from the sourdough book that I showed you guys last week, by Emily Rafa, I believe, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. But yes, that is very exciting. So that'll be like a sweet loaf, and then hopefully I plan to put together a more like bread that I could put with anything, and that will be brioche bread. So I'm excited to try that. My mom has done that, and she had quite the success. I saw a picture of it after it came out of the oven, and it was just gorgeous. So beautiful, and I've heard that it tastes amazing. So I'm also very excited about that. I have my starters all ready to go. It's very active and healthy, and I love that. I feel like I'm doing a good job of keeping it alive, keeping it healthy, raising it up to be a good starter. So that's fun. Books, I have never read, no, except for now. Before this past week, I had never read the Percy Jackson series, and now I have read the first book and the Lightning Thief one, because that's book 1, if you were unfamiliar. And I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. It's definitely, I mean, obviously it's a YA middle grade book, and that's the writing of it, but it's still super fun to read. You can read that whatever age you are. All about the gods and goddesses and all the drama that goes on in between them, and summer camp, and finding out that your father is Poseidon, and oh my goodness, and it's just lots of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. The Percy Jackson series is very special to Sam, my husband, if you are new to the podcast, and it's also, his brothers really enjoy that series as well. So I have never read them, and I want to read them, and I feel like I am currently, I don't know, I kind of want to go through a series like that this year, of just series that I may have already read, or I've never read, and I just want to experience them. If they have movies, I want to watch the movies as well. If the movies are terrible, book adaptations, which is for the most part always the case, but not necessarily. There are some pretty good book to movie adaptations out there. I don't want to say that they're all bad, because that's not true. But some of them are particularly bad, and so those ones, we have quite the entertaining evening where it's constantly me saying, we need to pause this because I need to rant and rave about how this doesn't match the book, and this happened here and it didn't happen there, and like that person didn't say that, this other person said that, and now they've changed it all. And I feel very passionate about this, if you couldn't tell. So, yes. I don't know why I find that so entertaining, but I do. And thankfully, Sam is he supports this idea of what I want to do in regards to reading YA series that came out many years ago that I have never read, and eventually watching the movies. Because he just thinks it's funny. So, yes. That is one of my not super serious and not very important plans for 2020. I believe I have not read or seen the Divergent series. And so I think that might be next on my list. Because we've done the Hunger Games, and we just finished that. The movies anyway, because I've read the books already. And so now, done the first Percy Jackson, that'll be a process, because there's a lot of the books in those series. Maybe Divergent. Twilight, I don't know, I've never read Twilight. Be very entertaining. Fun stuff. Light and fluffy reading, not super deep thinking, knitting on my Seavogger for sure. I'll just fly through that. We also have but Sam and I will be participating in a read-a-thon that's coming up. Another booktuber that I really like, she and some other booktubers are hosting something called the Backlist read-a-thon, and so it's basically just books that have been on your list for forever to read and you've just never read them. And there are some prompts, and Sam has never done a read-a-thon, and so I thought it would be fun for us to do this together, and so we can just read all that week, and I'm excited about that, and he is very excited about it as well. It was fun to go through the prompts and help him pick out the books, and like, you don't have to have 6 books, you don't have to have 5 books, you can smush these prompts together into one book so you can get all these prompts, and it was a puzzle and it was super fun, and so I'm very excited about that. That's not happening for a while though. I think it's not for 2 weeks, so which is a bummer because but it's not really a big bummer. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I have these books that I really want to read, and now I've got it all planned, but I have to wait for 2 weeks to read these books. But I suppose I have put these books off for so long that it should be totally fine to wait 2 weeks. And just fill my time with other books in the meantime, and audiobooks. So, fun stuff. Fun stuff. Yeah. So that's the book situation and the bread situation. You have been filled in and caught up. You are up to speed. All the information has been shared. So that is all that I have for you guys this week. We've gone over pretty much everything. Thank you so much for spending time with me this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode with all the rantings and ravings and me talking about how I rant and rave, and just all the knitting and all that jazz. So that's very fun. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I am most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there. I have finished object pictures coming. I have some things that just need to be blocked, and since I'm blocking my Snowberry today, I should just go ahead and do that. And so then I can finally take finished object pictures, because I have not done that yet. But I will. I will. If you would like to check out any of the things that I've talked about in this episode and yarn store information, all of that will be in my blog, or on my blog I should say. So if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on my blog, everything is already there. You don't need to go anywhere. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I'm just moving forward with everything, deciding which languishing whip I want to work on next. Might be all 3 of them, might be something new, I don't know, just depends. I think I just really need to get back into the groove of cabling and the Stephen West cowl and stuff like that. So I'm making good progress. I'm moving forward. I finished a huge languishing whip, and that was from 2018, so that's pretty big. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. That's pretty awesome. So yes, I'll try and put progress keepers and everything so we can see how much I get done. Also, just secret knitting, and that needs to be done, and I can't show it to you, but that's okay because you'll see it eventually at DFW. And it's going to be gorgeous, and it'll be worth the wait, for sure. So, that's all that I have. Have a wonderful week, weekend, day, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is that you're watching this. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.